I've been using tablet PCs for the better part of a decade now. Everything from Android devices to Windows devices to, well, the iPad that I've had for now 2 years. And in the past, I assumed that the iPad was kind of a PC replacement. So I wanted to start with the iPad itself. The model that I have, and one that I've shown off on this channel quite a bit, is the iPad 7th generation, the one that came out in 2019. I chose the 32 gig model because at the time it was convenient. It was on special and it just happened to be the device I could actually afford at that time. And I regret some of those decisions that I made when I originally purchased the iPad, but that doesn't come without some advantages as well. It's allowed me to rethink how I work and play and be productive. With that said, iPadOS is kind of an interesting product in and of itself, especially with the announcements that came at WWDC with multitasking, with the home screen, with Safari, and everything else. And I've already talked a little bit about that in blog posts and separate videos. I'm not going to go over that here in this video, but I wanted to emphasize what I use the iPad for. And I'm going to reiterate this, and this is something I've said in previous videos and posts before. The iPad is a different class of device. It is not intended, nor will it ever be intended, on replacing desktop or laptop computers, whether they're Windows or Mac. I'm sorely mistaken, because it's never going to fill the shoes of those things. Yes, you will have those desktop class applications available on the iPad, like LumaFusion, like Affinity Designer, but it is not a replacement to a full-fledged desktop, and that is fine, as long as you have the right tools to get the job done and you are comfortable with the compromises that come along with iPadOS. It is not a full-fledged desktop operating system. It is a mobile-first operating system. And I didn't think about that when I did my initial iPad as a PC challenge. I was coming at it from the perspective of a Windows user who was looking to replace his workflow with a mobile-first workflow. But the features I was looking for just simply don't exist on the iPad. Now, some of that has kind of been rectified with iPadOS 15, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Ever since I rethought how to use the iPad, I've been using it almost every day, with the exception of when it comes to revising my blog posts and making sure that they're punctual and grammatically correct, and that they have the correct spelling, because Grammarly is not available on the iPad in the way that I want it to be. When we're talking about iPadOS 15, which will be available to the general public later this year, it brought forward some of the features that were already there, but it makes it a lot more accessible. And what I mean by that, especially in the split view multitasking environment, you now have the ability to switch between apps without trying to figure out how it works. It's not technically a new feature, but it brings all those features forward in a manner that everybody can understand. And it's actually a joy to use split view now versus what it was before. No, it's not floating windows, and I imagine maybe someday, I'm hoping someday, that feature will become available. The one complaint I had when it came to file systems and storage has kind of been addressed. Apple finally added a progress indicator within the Files app. You still can't format drives, but again, that's more of a power user feature than it is a traditional user feature. The point of the iPad is the ease of use when it comes to getting stuff done. Do I still have the storage limitations? Yes. Unfortunately, that was a decision that I made at the time of purchase. I decided to go with the cheapest model, and I'm reaping the consequences of that. I really love using the iPad Now that I have a deeper understanding of what it is designed for, I feel that the iPad is more useful. And in that 1% where I need to get desktop work done, all I have to do is just log into a desktop session on my desktop or just use remote desktop on the iPad. Anyway, I want to know what you think in those comments down below. That's really all I have for today, folks. I'll see you guys next time.